Okay, we're back for 53, quiz 53. Just to give out last week, that was Billy and Margaret that actually won the quiz because they got their score and they had one more point than Josie and Bill. So it was Billy and Margaret won last week's. Right, we're going to start this week's one with something different. So if you've got a pen or a pencil and a bit of paper, you would need it to write it down. So if you want to pause this and go and get one. It's, I can't remember what you call these, but they're something like a dingbat, only I'll give you an example. I give you the letters and the numbers and you have to tell me what they are. I'll give you an example. 7D of the W would be 7 days of the week. SW on the 7D would be Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. So you have to work out what sometimes the numbers will give you a clue, like what's 24. You might think, well, it's 24 hours and be on a clock or something there. So you have to try and think about it. So you can take your time over these and pause it and write them out in a bit of paper. We're going to start off question 1, which is one of the wee tougher ones. T19 to the D. So write that down. T19 to the D. Write them down probably till the end of the round. That will be a bit quicker and then you can work them out. Number 2, 3WM. 3WM. Number 3, 13 in a BD. 13 in a BD. Number 4, 3BM. 3BM. One of the tough ones here. 4F and a T on EH. Okay. 4F and a T on EH. Number 6. Le 1 TGA. Le 1 TGA. And number 7. 90 D in a RA. 90 D in a RA. Well, there's 9 in this round, putting an extra one in. Number 8. G and the 3B. G and the 3B. Probably the hardest one around. Number 9. 4T in a WCSF. 4T in a WCSF. Okay, so get them answers down and you probably have to go and pause that and start working it out on your paper. So just pause it now, work it out on your paper, and I'm going to give you the answers. Number 1. T19 to the D. It was talk 19 to the dozen. Number 2, 3WM, 3 wise men. Number 3, 13 in a BD, 13 in a baker's dozen. Number 4, 3BM, 3 blind mice. 4F and a T on EH, that's 4 fingers and a thumb on each hand. Number 6, the 1GTA is the one that got away. 90D in an RA, that's 90 degrees and a right angle. G on the 3B is Goldilocks on the 3 Bears. And number 9, 4T and a WCSF, that's the hardest one around, which is 4 teams in the World Cup semi-final. Right, get them scores down. I'm hoping you get at least 6 in that one. I'm going to move on to round 2. And this is just a mixture. Number 1, the TV drama series The Bay is set in which seaside town? Okay, The Bay is set in which seaside town? Here's one I came across when I was looking through some wee site during the week. And I remember because I screenshot it, because I used to buy this wee thing when I was younger. I forgot all about it. In the 70s, what was the name of this sort of teenage TV times? It's a bit like a bit of pop stuff and articles for younger people. It was like tells you what was on the TV, like Grange Hill and all that there, and it was focused mainly on young people stuff that was on. It was like a young TV times. What was it called? It was 10p in the 70s. Right, number 3, which celebrity chef opened his new restaurant in Cheshire this year called Luciano? Okay, so which celebrity chef opened his new restaurant in Cheshire this year and you called it Luciano? Number 4, in Norse mythology, what kind of creatures led Thor's wagon? Okay, in Norse mythology, what sort of creatures led Thor's wagon? Right, going back to the 1920s and 30s, the 1920s and 30s actress Clara Bow was known by what nickname? Okay, so Clara Bow was known by what nickname? Here's one that was on the news recently. She's probably been, Jerry asked me this the other night. If you're at the watching any of the Winter Olympics, Britain only got 1 gold medal. So Great Britain won the women's curling final at the Winter Olympics. What was the name of their captain? Okay, you called her Eve what? The name of the captain of the winning team. She's been giving interviews all week in the news and all that. Okay, number 7. In which film did Cher win her first Oscar for Best Actress? Okay, not supporting actress, but Best Actress. In which film did Cher win her first Oscar for Best Actress? And the last one in this round. On a standard monopoly board, the 4 railway stations are Liverpool Street, Fenchurch Street, Marylebone, and what's the other one? Okay, so you've got Liverpool Street, Fenchurch Street, Marylebone, and what's the other railway station called? Right, pause it, write down your answers. I'm going to give you the answers here. Number 1, the TV drama series The Bay is set in which seaside town? Morecambe. In the 70s, the teenage TV times for kids with articles for younger people was called Lucan. Okay, which celebrity chef opened his new restaurant in Cheshire this year called Luciano? It was Gino Di Campo. Number 4, in Norse mythology, which sort of creatures pulled Thor's wagon? They were goats. In the 20s and 30s, actress Clara Bow was known as the It Girl. And Great Britain won the Olympic curling championships, the women's, and the captain was called Eve Muirhead. Eve Muirhead. And in which film did Cher win her first Oscar for Best Actress? Well, Best Supporting Actress was for Silkwood, but Best Actress was, Moonstruck. The answer was Moonstruck. And on a standard monopoly board, the 4 railway stations are Liverpool Street, Fenchurch Street, Marylebone, and King's Cross. Okay, get their scores down. We're going to move on to round 3. Wee bit of a mixture. Number 1, she was a symbol of swing in London in the face of the 60s. She was named, and for much of the 60s, the world's highest paid model. Who was she? Okay, she was a symbol of the swing in London and the face of the 60s. She was named for much of the 60s as the world's highest paid model. Who was she? Okay, what was the name of the first nuclear powered submarine? What was the name of the first nuclear powered submarine? 1955. What was it called? And number 3, who was the first Prime Minister to make use of checkers? Okay, not the game, the place you want to stay in. Who was the first Prime Minister to go there? Number 4, what sport would you be doing if you were a toxopholite? Okay, so what sport would you be doing if you were a toxopholite? Hard to say it. Number 5, what was Captain Mannering's day job in Dodd's army? What was Captain Mannering's day job in Dodd's army? Right, which Australian bird is famous for laughing? That's, I don't want its nickname, I want its proper name, okay? So what Australian bird is famous for its laughing? Not its nickname, but its real name. Number 7, what animal lives in a dray? What animal lives in a dray? D-R-E-Y. And the last one in this round, number 8, who ran an airline service called SkyTrain? Who ran an airline service called SkyTrain? Okay, get your answers down and pause it because I'm going to give you the answers here. She was a symbol of swing in London in the face of the 60s, and she was named for much of the 60s as the world's highest paid model. It was Jean Shrimpton. Jean Shrimpton. And what was the name of the first nuclear powered submarine? Nautilus. And who was the first Prime Minister to make use of checkers? David Lloyd George. And what sport would you be doing if you were a toxopholite? Archery. And what was Captain Mannering's day job in Dodd's army? He was the bank manager. And which Australian bird is famous for laughing? Kookaburra. And which animal lives in a dray? A squirrel. And who ran an airline called SkyTrain? Freddie Laker. Sir Freddie Laker. We'll get the answers down. We're going to move on to round 4. Time's at 12, 13 minutes. What's this? A wee bit of a mixture in this one again. I think they're all mixtures, no particular round. Number 1, Handbags and Gladbags by the Stereophonics is the theme tune of which BBC sitcom? Okay, Handbags and Gladbags by the Gladrags by the Stereophonics is the theme tune of which BBC sitcom? Number 2, in 1965 there were 13 number 1s in the USA and 5 of them X ended with an S. Name me 2 for a point. Okay, in 65 there were 13 number 1s in the USA. British X, and 5 of them X ended with an S. So 13 British X at number 1 in America in 1965, but 5 of them X ended with an S. I'm looking for 2 for a point. Number 3, who wrote the Peter and Gordon song World Without Love, which was number 1 in both sides of the Atlantic? Who wrote it? World Without Love, Peter and Gordon. Just thinking, this is more music round except for the first one there. Well, there is music, it's all music. Ooh. Right. Where are we? Right. Number 4. Before the British invasion, there was 2 British acts that hit number 1 in the USA. Name one for a point, and I'll give you a clue. They were both instrumentals. Okay, so before the British invasion, 2 British acts hit number 1 in the USA. Both of them were instrumentals. Name me them. Number 5, Leslie Lawson was a big name in the 60s. How was she better known in the 60s? Leslie Lawson. Number 6, Rod Stewart's big hit Sailing was used as a soundtrack for a documentary about which ship? There was a TV documentary on back then, and it was about, they used the sailing as a theme tune, but what was the ship that the documentary was about? Number 7, which 60s song was the opening theme of Absolutely Fabulous? Which 60s song was the opening theme of Absolutely Fabulous? Okay, here's another one of my wee groups that I like. Hot Chocolate. Which 1970s hot chocolate hit advertised Cadbury's hot chocolate on a TV ad? Okay, so which 1970s hot chocolate hit advertised Cadbury's hot chocolate on a TV ad? You probably forget, but you'll know it when I tell you. You can probably remember it. Forgot about that one. Well, not the song, but the advertisement. Okay, number 1. Put their answers down. I'm going to give you the answers. Handbags and Gladbags by the Stereophonics is the theme tune of which BBC sitcom? It's The Office. Something I've never seen. The Office. In 1965, there were 13 number 1s in the USA, and 5 of them, the MX, these are British number 1s. I ended with the letter S and named 2 for a point. Well, you could have had the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders, Herman's Hermits, or Freddie and the Dreamers. So if you have any of them too, give yourselves a point. Probably got most of these will probably have the Beatles and the Stones. Right, number 3. Who wrote the Peter and Gordon song World Without Love, which was a number 1 on both sides of the Atlantic in 1964? It was Paul McCartney. Peter and Gordon, who was it? Peter Asher. He was going with what's she called? Jane Asher. He was going with his sister, and he wrote that song for his brother. So Peter and Gordon had to hit with it. Number 5. Before the British invasion, 2 British acts hit number 1 in the USA. Name any one for a point. Would you any 2 for a point? We're gonna add Acker Bilk, Stranger on the Shore, or The Tornadoes with Telstar. So if you said any one of them, give yourselves a point. You don't need 2 of them, just any one. Okay, number 5. Leslie Lawson was a big name in the 60s. How she better known? She was known as Twiggy. And Rod Stewart's big hit Sailing was used as a soundtrack for a documentary about which ship? It was a HMS Ark Royal. And which 60s song was the opening theme of Absolutely Fabulous? Wheels and Fire, Brian Hugger and the Trinity, and featuring Julie Driscoll. And give me a number. And which this is probably the hardest one all around here. Which 70s hot chocolate hit advertised Cadbury's hot chocolate on a TV ad? It was I'll Put You Together Again. Okay, get them scores down. And big shout out to Jean and Davey. And Jean's Caroline was saying she got her big boot on today because she's hurt her foot. So I hope she's getting better soon. And Billy's, hopefully he's on the mend with his hip. Big shout out to Jerry and Josie and Bill and Andre and Caroline and Brian and all the big hitters, all the big scorers has been bringing their scores in. If I missed anybody, Josie and Bill, Stevie and Rita and Davey and John, Ian and Dawn and John. Okay, so they're all up there. Dawn and John, Stevie and Rita, Davey and Jean, they're up there every week, and Billy and Margaret, they're all up the top end every week. So well done to them. Right, a couple of hard ones. Just a couple. Number 1, in the last round. What's the time? 19, right? We're just on target. Before it was rebranded and taken over as Iceland, what was it called before? That was a tough one, didn't know it. Before it was rebranded and taken over as Iceland, what was it called? Here's another tough one. What is Dennis the Menace's surname? Okay, Dennis the Menace, what's his surname? Number 3, the TSB merged with which bank in 1995? Number 4, which town in England is commonly known as the oldest town in the UK? Okay, so which town in England is commonly known as the oldest town in the UK? And number 5, according to a nursery rhyme, who killed Cock Robin? The 1961 movie The Misfits was the last movie made by which two people? Okay, the 1961 movie The Misfits was the last movie made by which two people? You need to give me the two people that acted in this film, the two main stars of this film. Number 7, which actress was Dawn Johnson married to twice? Which actress was Dawn Johnston married to twice? There's an RB tough one, but I think Boy and Margaret, Josie and Bill will probably get this, and probably Jean. What was the name of Scarlett O'Hara's plantation home in Gone with the Wind? What was the name of Scarlett O'Hara's plantation home in Gone with the Wind? Right, get them answers down. And I'm going to read you the answers. Don't forget, folks, let me know what your score is. And if you get over 20, you'll get a mention. So there's some people just sitting below the 19s and the 18s and the 17s, but it take me too long reading them all out. So if you get over 20, you get a shout. Answers. Before it was rebranded and taken over as Iceland, what was it called? Bejam frozen food. Bejam, B-E-J-I-M. I wouldn't have got that, that's a tough one. What's Dennis the Menace's surname? It's Dennis Mitchell. And the TSB merged with which bank in the 1995? It was Lloyd's. And which town in England is commonly known as the oldest town in the UK? Colchester. And according to the nursery rhyme, who killed a cock robin? It was a sparrow with his bow and arrow, the sparrow. And the 1961 movie The Misfits was the last movie made by which two people? Marilyn Monroe and Clark Gable. And which actress was Dawn Johnson married to twice? Melanie Griffith. And number 8, what was the name of Scarlett O'Hara's plantation home in Gone with the Wind? It was Tara. Okay, folks, hope you enjoyed that one. Well, especially that wee one at the front. So let me know if you like that one with the numbers and letters, and I like it myself. But it's easy to do too. All right, catch us next week, a week after.